Today we'll be talking about money. This definition is out of Black's Law 4th edition. In usual and ordinary acceptation, it means gold, silver, or paper money that used as circulating medium of exchange and does not embrace notes, bonds, evidences of debts, or other personal or real estate. Here it is in Black's Law 9th. They have a very different term for money, but it still says this under real money. What is real money? Money that has metallic or other intrinsic value as distinguished from paper currency, checks, and drafts. Current cash as opposed to money on account. Here's money from Black's Law Dictionary online. And notice that it does not talk about metals or anything of intrinsic value. I just point this out because some information you cannot get off the internet. Sometimes you gotta go where they bury their lies, and that would be the library. Now let's look at debit. A sum charged as due or owing. It's a debt. Somebody owes a debt to you and you got a debit. So when you got a debit card, you have a lot more debt. Now, here's credit. Credit in the English sense of the term, or more particularly, the security for a loan or advancement. So, debt, again, you're going to create a loan, you're going to create a debt, you're going to create an advancement. Here's the definition of a note. A written promise by one party, the maker, to pay money to another party, the payee, or to the bearer. Right down here it says also term promissory note. I'll let you go look that up because that's what it is. It's a promissory note, but it's a debt. It's a debt to pay money, and they used to pay real money on Federal Reserve notes. They used to pay real money until 1933, and then they wouldn't pay out real money to Americans anymore, but they would still pay it out to the rest of the world until 1971 with the Nixon shock. After that, there has been no money backing up the notes, the promissory notes that we carry around in our pockets and in our wallets, or put into the bank account and get debt put in there that we can relieve to another debtor. This is a completely debt-based system. All of the terms on here are based off of debt. When you're looking at some of these bills, notice that the later ones will be a certificate, or if it is a U.S. Treasury note, it will pay coin to the bearer on the delivery of the note. Even on this $100 bill, it says is redeemable in lawful money. That would be gold and silver at the United States Treasury or at any Federal Reserve Bank. Nowadays, all of your money has this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. It's only for debts because chances are you are going to be relieving some of your debt to another debtor. Everybody has a mortgage or a loan on a car or something of that nature and is in debt, and this is what they use to try and relieve their own debt, but it is not real money. Remember, money does not embrace notes, bonds, evidences of debt, and that is exactly what Federal Reserve notes are. They're notes and they're evidences of debt. They say it right there on the piece of paper, on the contract that you're holding in your hands. They say it's a debt, they tell you it's a debt. It's a debt-based system with nothing to back it up except for the faith and the credit of the people. Now that we know that notes are debt, let's look at one of the reasons why we try and collect this debt, to pay off more debt. This is a mortgage agreement. So right here under security agreement, it says, lender shall have all the rights of a secured party under the Uniform Commercial Code, as amended from time to time. And if you don't know what the Uniform Commercial Code is, that's kind of like the Mac Daddy of all statutes, and it controls all commercial activity all around the world. So the Uniform Commercial Code is pretty big in this whole statutes versus common law, and that's what they're doing is these contracts would not be legal under common law. but they are legal under the Uniform Commercial Code, and that's why they're going to use that. Now, essentially what they're trying to do, or what they are doing, is they are getting you to sign over and waiver all of your rights. You can see right here it says no waiver by lender. So the lender will not waive any rights, so the bank will not waive any rights. But the right to a jury, it does say waive jury. All parties to this mortgage hereby waive the right to any jury trial and action, proceeding, or counterclaim. And there's a reason that they're doing that, and that's because the banks have never been really popular among the public of the people, or the people of the public. So they don't really want a jury trial because it probably won't end up good for them. Most of the time, 12 out of 12 people aren't going to like the banks. It's just kind of a fact. So they want to get you to waive that right to a jury trial. Now, notice here that it says, final agreement, by signing this document, each party represents and agrees that. Okay? So by signing this document, each party represents and agrees. So you would think that each party would need to sign the contract. And here are the signatures. And you can see here that only the grantor acknowledges the contract, having read all of the provisions, and agrees to the terms. Well, where's the lender's signature? Where's a power of attorney representing that lender? And I talked to a lawyer about this. He said, I forgot what kind of contract he called it, but essentially because the person, the corporation, has already provided their duties and service, they don't need to sign. They don't need to have a representative sign for their half of the contract. But if you don't make payment on this, what do? They come and they pull you into court and they take your property. Well, that is a duty of theirs. So they have not fulfilled their duties within the realm of this contract. That's just an opinion. I'll get to some more opinions here in a minute. But notice again, no waiver by lender, and the only thing they'll waive is the jury trial, and they get you to essentially waive all of your rights because they're working under the Uniform Commercial Code. So normally persons don't have many rights when it comes up against big corporations or businesses working under the UCC. So let's talk about what you need to make a contract. First, you have to have a meeting of the minds. That obviously happens. Second, you have to have some type of consideration. They don't say adequate consideration because they know that they're not actually putting up any real value for you to purchase that property. We all know that they just make money out of thin air. That's how it comes into existence. So they say consideration. You're not going to win on this. Now, the last thing that each party has to have is each party must have the appropriate mental capacity. Let's take a look at the definition for mental incapacity, mental incompetency. Established when there is found to exist an essential privation of reasoning faculties. These banks get fined billions of dollars and nobody goes to prison over it. I think they lack the appropriate mental capacity because they do not have to suffer the same consequences that the rest of us have to suffer when we do something wrong. So I think that they lack moral judgment and conscience. Now, if they lack appropriate mental capacity, your contract is null and void. Your right to a jury, you waiving that right to a jury, is null and void. And then you can put the case in front of a jury, and the jury can decide if the bank had appropriate mental capacity, because it is a matter of fact, not of law. Think about it. Next time I'll be talking about the U.S. Constitution, analysis and interpretations, and who knows what. Who knows what? Sorry, I was interrupted by a phone call, but please stay with me. I will have more videos out here shortly. Thank you. Bye-bye.